Hi, welcome back. I am in my backyard today trying something a bit different. It is now kind of fall. It is autumnish. It's still very warm here in Canada, but the summer is at an end. It is Labor Day weekend, traditionally when the summer ends and you start thinking about fall and winter. This summer, I spent a lot of the summer doing minimalist experiments. And I talked about those on my blog, iLikeHelping.com, Minimalism in a Nerdy World. A couple of blogs called The Summer of New, where I tried some different experiments. The number one experiment I tried was The Summer of New itself, which was a 2-month experiment where I did not rewatch anything, did not reread anything, did not re-experience any content. Now, for some people, this is an incredibly easy thing to do. However, for anyone in the geek world, we tend to reconsume things over and over. A lot of marathons, a lot of binging, a lot of rewatching, and I wanted to get away from that for 2 months and really attack my reading pile and my watching pile. So for 2 months, I went through tons of stuff on Netflix I had never seen before. A lot of it I just watched 10 minutes and then jumped to the next thing. I read more books. I read everything that was on my tablet, from digital comics, including a bunch of Humble bundles that had been piling up. And those all emptied out. It took 2 months of solid, not rereading anything, to get all of my digital piles cleaned up. So the other experiments I tried over the summer were that I quit Pokemon Go, and I don't miss it. I had some interesting experiences with some of the experiments that I have tried over the course of the past 6 months, and often I find that I don't miss these things when I take them out of my life. Pokemon Go, I enjoyed playing it. I didn't like the newest change that they had made. If you're a fan of the game, you know what the latest changes were in the summer. I didn't like those and took it off my phone, and after a day didn't even notice that it was gone, honestly. For something that I put quite a bit of attention to as I walked around and as I went through my day, those things just disappear so quickly from your mind. Also, I installed the Moment app on my phone. This comes up a lot of times. Minimalist talkers and slow living people will talk about it a lot. It is an app you put on your phone, and every morning you take a screenshot of your battery usage, and it tells you which apps you're using the most, which apps you're using for how much length of time, and gives you can set goals, you can kind of track your own. So for a month, for all of August, I did experiment with that, and was interested in some of the results. I did find that I use news apps quite a bit as my social media use has gone down. I threw a couple of news apps on my phone, so I added, I've always had the IMDb app for movie news. Also I added the CBC and BBC apps. So I'm getting news that way now that I've reduced my social media use. I took Twitter and Facebook and Instagram off my phone in May, have not looked back on that. So I uninstalled Moment today. I found that it wasn't really moving the needle at all. It was interesting to see how much time I spent on it, which apps I was using. But I'm happy with the amount of use I have at this point. So it did bring down the number of times that I unconsciously checked my phone. At the beginning of the month, it was about 50 times a day I would pick up my phone for some reason. That pulled down to about 30 or 35 by the end of the month. So that was a good thing. I did put my phone away more often. And last but not least, I got a lot of writing done and a lot of videos made. So overall, it was a really productive summer. I felt like I got a lot done. I was very focused on minimizing and slowing down. Spent a lot of time with family, a lot of time with friends, spent more time with friends in the real world, which was good, and was able to reduce my social media time and my social media stress, because honestly it is something that I'm very careful of, is how I use social media. I did just decide to lock down my personal account, so it is now a protected account. You can still follow me on my websites, Twitter. I like helping web on Twitter. But I do have a personal account now, which is really to make a quiet space for myself. I found there was some stress I was getting from being part of a worldwide conversation, when really Twitter for me, for my personal use, is about talking about comics with a few friends. So by separating those two out, having an account which is just me knocking around, what did you watch on Netflix with friends, versus the messaging that's going out for my videos and for my blog, which is more focused on slow living. I'm able to have those two worlds. It is interesting these days that we've lost the phrase private life. It used to be that you would have a public persona and a personal life. You would have a private world, and those things vanished. Individuals became brands, and who you are on Twitter defines who you are as a person, and I'm not happy with it. So I've decided that I do want those very distinct worlds. I want to be able to walk away from those kinds of messages. I want to walk away from thinking in a certain way and take an escape and talk about Peaky Blinders on Netflix, which is a great show. Alright, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Check out my blog, ilikehelping.com, Minimalism in a Nerdy World. And I'll put a couple links to the Summer of New blogs that I wrote at the beginning of the summer, which launched this experiment. And I'll be looking at adding some new experiments as I go through. It is the top of a month. It is time to add a new minimalist experiment. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'm going to add in a little video of me picking apples off of my tree, which, if I can figure out the settings, will be in fast motion. My wife has really wanted me to do a fast motion clip, so this one's for you, sweetie. Also, and I was able to get quite a bit of writing and video making done. It has been good to focus a bit more. Getting some background noise.